I'm sure I was just one of a billion people that watched the Winter Olympics this last week. And I don't know about you, but Winter Olympics for me is my favorite. I love watching the athletes perform because they are so dedicated and disciplined, and they spend years of sacrifice all to come for these just few moments, seconds, minutes on the ice or snow. And sometimes it's so beautiful to watch, and other times it's absolutely heartbreaking. And one story that still sits with me is Alysa Liu. I think her story is so powerful, and ice skating is one of my favorite things to watch. I think she is honestly wise beyond her years because she retired at 16 years old. She'd been skating since she was 5 years old, and she stepped away, not just for like a couple weeks. She stepped away for 2 years. She needed a reset. She stepped away for 2 whole years. And if you watched the Winter Olympics this last week, you would have never known that she stepped away from the ice for that long. What really stood out to me was not just the way she performed and how beautiful she performs. She was so peaceful, and she had such a joy on her face and happiness and freedom. And you can actually see it with the way she was skating. She said she wasn't there necessarily to win it, but to showcase what she can do. She talked about how she stepped away from the sport because she wanted to find her identity outside of being an Olympian. And she wanted to experience life without the rigid schedule and the consistent pressure of being a skater and being an Olympian. And that part really hit me deeply because I think as a high performer or a very high driver, we identify ourselves, and sometimes our identity gets all wrapped up with our performance or an outcome or a role. And I think the fact that she removed herself from that and found herself, grounded herself, and made sure that she was steady in that, and then came back to skating, I think is just so magical. Because, again, we really do tie our identity sometimes to our job, or our goal for the year, or how many houses we're selling. And watching her win the gold Olympics, of course, brought me to tears. But that victory was more than just a victory. It was representing so much more. It was representing freedom and joy that was rediscovered. So, burnout warning. If burnout is tied to a role, a performance, or something like that for you right now, make sure you give yourself space and room to find what's really important to your life, to yourself, to your life, and get grounded in that. Because if that thing, so I'm going to ask you a question, I want you to journal about it. If that thing, the goal, the identity, whatever it is that you're seeking so hard after, if it disappeared tomorrow, what would you do and who would you be today? Well, if it was tomorrow, who would you be then? So stop and ask yourself, if the thing I worked hardest for disappeared tomorrow, who would you still be? So that question might be a little uncomfortable, and I want to challenge you to really sit in it. And just a closing thought, Alysa Liu didn't come back weaker. Let's be real honest. I think she came back lighter. I think she came back with more joy, which is just amazing, because burnout can really bring you down. And so she got out of that. And burnout recovery often begins the moment that you realize that you're allowing yourself, and you're not allowing yourself to be like your whole person. So that's my challenge for you this week. Thank you so much for watching this and reading my newsletter. If it has resonated with you, please share it with somebody else. Thank you.